Hi, I'm Angela Non.
I'm Ariana Kempis.
And this is BRB Crying.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to BRB Crying. I'm Ariana, also known as Arns.
I'm Angela, also known as Nins. And you found us.
You found us.
You found those two girls that just cry online once a week.
Congratulations.
Lucky you. I'm so thrilled that you're here.
Yeah, me too.
This is a podcast where the two of us scour the world for stories.
Like detectives.
This is not a true crime podcast at all. This is two besties talking about random shit that just so happens to move us to tears. And then we sit here and analyze the shit out of it.
Beautifully said.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
How's your day going?
Really good. It's hot.
Yes.
Summer is upon us.
It is. Ants.
Ooh.
Do you get ants?
I don't. Yeah.
That's how I know it's summer.
Yeah.
The ants, they come a knocking.
They come charging.
Oh, yeah.
You know, ants, they don't want to be in the sun either. You know?
I feel that.
You know what I mean? But how are you? How are you feeling?
Amazing. Compared to last week,
Dude.
let me tell you all a little behind the scenes. Last week, I felt like complete shit. Raging headache the entire time. Worst day ever.
Yeah.
But today, I'm fucking here. I just feel, do you ever you feel really shitty and then you're like, fuck, I always take for granted how good it feels to be completely healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Girl, you're in your follicular phase. That is why. That is the best time. And also, what's great to know, the follicular phase in a woman's cycle.
We're not doctors.
It's the shortest.
I love that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The worst parts of the cycle, longest. For me, it's 2 weeks.
Yes. Love it.
The follicular
Love
phase
it.
is like 4 days.
You know what? Okay, this reminds me. This is something that is a bit of a disclaimer. I don't know if that's the right word.
Sure.
But this is like in reference to a past episode.
Okay.
Jomar asked me to make this clarification on his behalf. He was like, you don't show me in a good light. And I was like, I'm sorry. What do you mean? Okay, well, the thing that he was referencing was when we were talking about periods and I was saying that, oh, yeah, I bled all over the sheets and I was telling Jomar, I'm so sorry. It was my inclination to apologize.
Like, what the hell?
Yeah. Okay, so after I said, oh my God, I'm so sorry I bled all over the sheets, I forgot to mention how he responded. And he was like, dude, you make me look like I cared. And I was like, fuck, I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't mean, obviously, if you know him, he doesn't give a He's a nurse.
He was like, Lou looked fucking good in that episode. I want to look good too. Jomar, you look good every day, babe.
Yeah. That's why I married you. But yeah, no, he was like, can you please clarify that I don't give a shit that you bled? And I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to do you a solid and clear that air.
Yeah, great guy, that one.
Yeah. Top 10 for me.
Sure, yeah.
So anyway, feeling great.
That's great to hear.
Yeah, I'm going to fucking kill it today.
Well, let me fuck you up with my story. Ruin that mood.
Oh, is this a big one?
No.
I mean, not big, but, you know.
It's not a personal story. It's not heavy. Should we get into it? Should we go for it? Okay, yeah. Okay. I'll start us off today. Right. I'll start us off.
Ooh,
okay. So, I have a video that I will be sharing with you today.
Okay.
Cry level was like, okay. The first time I watched the video, so fucking minor. Like 1, 2.
Okay.
And then as I was putting the story together and I allowed myself to think about it, ooh, it
Yeah.
Yeah, it hit. And another beautiful cry. So today I'm going to be talking to you about a video it's called The And Project.
Okay.
The And Project is produced by an experienced design studio called The Skin Deep, which focuses on exploring human relationships. They state, our mission is to create experiences that allow more people to have deep, cathartic conversations, explore their relationship, and experience deeper connection. So my sources for today are the Skin Deep's main website, and I'm also going to be referencing, obviously, the videos that they have on YouTube and a podcast called Directionally Challenge, hosted by Kayla Ewell, in which the founder is a guest on the episode. The And Project has over 1,000 videos that they've uploaded on YouTube where they film conversations between two people who have a relationship with one another. And this relationship can be anything: lovers, spouses, exes, parent, child, siblings, friends, like whatever type of relationship. They'll invite people to sit down with one another. And in this studio, the whole premise is to film authentic and emotional conversations between two people as they ask intimate questions. And they invite viewers into their emotional space. They're given 12 questions each that are provided by the studio. And these questions are meant to really allow these individuals to dig fucking deep into their relationship. So, for example, I saw one about these two exes and, they were obviously unpacking all of the issues. And one of the questions was like, would you ever think about getting back together? Like, oh my fuck,
God. So that was a question provided.
That was a question provided. They pick a card on a table
God.
and they have to ask that question. And then they film the conversation. Yeah. So a small anecdote that I think gives some context as to how this concept came to be. The founder, Topaz Andisis, he grew up in a household where his parents would fight constantly. And this sparked his thirst for wanting to see more connection and intimacy between two people.
Yeah.
I think watching his parents constantly argue probably triggered this idea that, like, oh my God, if these two just sat down and took the time to understand one another, And it's ironic to me because I think in a lot of ways, you can say that now more than ever, the world is so connected, right? You can send messages across the globe in an instant. You can look up random people from high school and you just check in on their lives.
Ooh, and do we?
I've never done that.
No.
It's like we have all the tools, and yet oftentimes the depths of our conversations and our connections are just very surface level. There is that hesitancy, right, to be vulnerable and discuss the heavy. And even as I say heavy, my mind automatically thinks to the negative, right? The problems, the tension that could happen between two people. But I think that we refrain from even talking about the beautiful things too, like all the big feelings that are actually really wonderful between someone you love. Expressing our love and our appreciation, it's not something that comes naturally to us in day-to-day conversations. It's like a lot of emotional work that we're not used to. And the And Project really just attacks that phobia and gives people the space to do that. Kind of like this pod.
I have a question.
Sure.
How do you get on this?
I don't know. I think you can apply for it.
And both people have to agree to...
Oh, yeah. I assume that there's a bunch of... It's filmed in a studio. So you have total, like, you are walking
consent
into that space. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I came across these videos during college. They've been around since 2014.
Okay.
And I think the first video I saw was actually about two exes. And they broke up because one of them had cheated on the other. And it was crazy to me. Like, I'm just sitting there watching it and I was like, holy shit, this is the realest conversation I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It was like I was watching two people who knew each other intimately, who had this history. There was no bullshit between them. There was no niceties, right? It was just a raw, honest conversation between two people. And I think the intrigue to me, because I'm fucking nosy, is that like I almost felt like an intruder, right? Like you're watching something that is typically a really private conversation. Yeah, I was just really fascinated by the whole concept.
Oh,
like,
I'm sure.
Watching strangers be themselves. So yeah, that was back in probably 2014, 2015. I haven't like watched every single 1,200 videos that they've published over the years. We're going to do that right now.
Oh, we got the fucking time. Yeah.
I'm kidding. But there is one video that I've seen recently, and that is a video that I want to discuss today. So today we are going to be talking about Ginny and Rachel. This was a conversation that was filmed and uploaded in 2020 between a mother and daughter. Ginny is the mom, and Rachel is her 15-year-old daughter with Down syndrome. The description in the video reads, "From the moment Rachel was born, Ginny began growing alongside her daughter as they became each other's greatest teachers. Now, after 15 years together, share an intimate moment with the mother and daughter as they giggle their way through a heartfelt conversation around navigating Down syndrome, chasing dreams, and their profound love for one another."
You can stop there.
I feel like I should.
I do not
The
need
episode's done. We'll see you next week. So yeah, I'm going to pause here and show Arns the video. If you'd like to watch before we discuss, you can obviously find the link in our show notes and socials. You said this is a 1.
If we weren't sitting here, I could cry about this
For a really long time. Oh my God. You okay?
Yeah. No. But you know what? Just continue.
Well, you know how this goes. You probably haven't watched it yet, so I will describe it. So Ginny and Rachel are sitting face to face in a studio, and the way that the video is edited, you see both of their faces close up the entire time. So even if they're not talking, you see the other person's reactions. But there's also a shot of them from the side. It's like their profile views as they're facing one another. And when I first saw this video, I immediately just gravitated towards Ginny, the mother. And my first thought when I saw her face was, oh yeah, this is a woman who was meant to be a mom. She just had this natural warmth about her. And I could just imagine that anyone that she cares about is just absolutely safe. And I think the reason that this was so obvious to me is because the entire time that this camera is in her face, she is looking at her daughter Rachel with just such tangible love in her eyes. Like, it was just so clear. You could see it pouring out of her. So the video is 8 minutes, and it covers 7 of the 12 questions that they ask one another. And some of the conversation is very silly. You know, it's like, do your best impression of me, or I hid chocolate in my room that I don't want to tell you about. But I want to highlight a few of these more poignant exchanges between the two of them. So Ginny, the mom, asks Rachel, if I was a superhero, what would my superpower be and why? And Rachel, who is clearly just like the sweetest soul, just this pure beam of brightness, she responds that if her mom was a superhero, she would have, quote, caring powers. You're a wonderful mom. If I ever cry, you always fly to me and go, Rachel, I'm here. I'll give you a hug and a kiss. It's so clear that Rachel is loved. She knows she's loved. She recognizes that her mother's care for her is a superpower. Mm-hmm. It's not human, the love this mother has for her daughter. So then Rachel asks her mother, what did you wish for me when you were pregnant, and how is it different now? And you have to forgive me because Ginny's warmth and patience and love that she uses to deliver this, like, I obviously can't replicate it here as I just read the quote, but she says, you remember we told you the doctors called and said, we're going to have a baby with Down syndrome. And I told you I was really scared. And so I was wishing that Down syndrome would not hurt you. And I was wishing that Down syndrome would not hurt our family because I was scared, right? And then here you are. And is it hurting you? No. Is it hurting me? No. Is it hurting Dad? Never. So I was afraid it was going to hurt, but it doesn't even hurt us. And last question that I wanted to cover was Rachel asks her mom, what does my love feel like? And Ginny responds, after some thinking, she says, this is kind of a crazy answer. Listen to this. Are you ready for this? Your love feels like a place to stand. Your love feels like a place to stand on, like a foundation, like a rock under my feet. And Ginny starts kind of crying, and Rachel whispers, are you okay, Mom? And Ginny goes, yeah, I'm okay. You see these tears? These are happy tears. Need I explain why this made me cry?
And that's it.
It's just so beautiful. And one of the things that I noticed is the kindness and love and patience that just flows out of Ginny as she's trying to articulate these big, very complex and huge emotions, these overwhelming things. And she finds a way to simplify that. They both do. They both are able to express their love through just a few words. You know, I'm scared and you fly to me. I think we are so often caught up in the complexities and the complications of our relationships. And it can, in fact, just be so simple and so pure. And it was just such a beautiful moment between these two souls that were so obviously meant to love one another. as I've gotten older and kind of think about the dynamics of a parent and a child and how that changes as that child becomes their own person, like underneath all of that noise, underneath all of it, it's just a mom wanting to fly to her kid.
Yeah, that line really got me. That was like the first question. I was like, whoa, holy shit. Yeah. I love what you said about how loved Rachel knows that she is. Because when Ginny is saying, oh, I was scared when I was pregnant because I didn't know what it would be like. And now I'm not scared. It's not hurting you. And when Rachel's responding, no, never. She's so sure of herself. There is not a doubt in her mind. The thing that kept going on in my mind watching it was that mom loves her daughter so fiercely. Her eyes aren't going anywhere else. She is so focused on her daughter. And I think we all deserve that kind of love. It doesn't always happen that way, but I mean, to feel even an ounce of that.
To see it.
Yeah.
It's so moving already.
Yeah.
The comments add another layer of just like the beauty between these two because of the things that people point out.
I love a fucking comment section.
I'll just name a few of them.
Please.
The right child for the right mother. This mama was born for this sweet girl. Oh, I wrote this one down because I was like, ooh, she totally shines. I love how her daughter sees that. BRB crying.
Oh my God.
It was like, I'm gonna copy paste that one. And my favorite. Oh, these two were together before this life, and you can tell. It made me think of one of our favorite topics of conversation, Journey of Souls by Michael Newton.
Yes.
And this book is a book that Arns and I read like maybe 2020-ish or so. And it's a book about this hypnotherapist who, his patients that go under hypnosis, he asks them questions about like what happens between life and death, like from one life before you're reincarnated into the next one. And it's like all of these things that people have said over the years. But you kind of learn a little bit about this idea of, as your soul is preparing for its next life, that we actually choose the people that we want. And just the idea of like,
save it for another episode. My God.
that they chose each other, you know?
Yeah.
It's just such a beautiful idea. And I think when you look at these two people and how much they love each other, it's all of a sudden not that hard to believe. Mm-hmm. That's my story today. Again, this is The And Project by The Skin Deep. You can find them on YouTube, and they have beautiful gems like this one and several others that you can explore.
Thanks for sharing. Thanks for attacking me. You ready to be dug out of the trenches? It's light.
You got a light one today?
Yeah.
Hell yeah,
I would
dude.
say one.
That one wasn't the trenches. That one was beautiful, but it was...
When I say trenches, I mean the trenches of my feelings. Like I was really deep in there.
Okay. Yeah. Take it away.
All right. Yeah, this was a light cry. I would say one, maybe two. Let me just talk about it. I was thinking about like, how do I explain it? I was like, oh, I could just talk about it. I could just do it. Okay. So today I'm going to talk about an art artist named Juna Law.
Okay.
Yes. Art artist.
An art artist.
Before you ask, yes. Ceramics, illustration. Yes. So
we
these are
got
the mediums.
different mediums. Okay.
So
an arts artist.
Jesus Christ. Okay, so I came across Juna through an account called Human Edition. There's a woman named Shihan, and she goes around Malaysia and she interviews different people. And she did a feature on Juna, and it popped up on my innocent little feed, and that's how I found it. So that's one of the sources that I'm going to be referring to. And another source that I'm going to reference is this e-zine. It's called My Creative Cup of Tea, and they did a feature on Juna too. And that zine kind of features international stories that highlight talent, creativity, and sustainability. Okay, so Juna is an artist from Malaysia, and she moved to New York in her youth to study. I think she studied fashion design because she ended up spending 30 years in a fashion career for children's clothing. So in 2013, she was kind of struggling in her life. She was in this awful relationship. She says her husband was controlling and like narcissistic, and she was also feeling a lot of financial strain. They had 2 mortgages, and in the entire 18-year relationship, she was the sole breadwinner. So she knew she had to put an end to that relationship, and she decided to take a leap of faith and divorce him. And she ended up losing more than half of what she owned, and it took her 5 years to pay back like the alimony. And so finally, as she says that this was the price to pay for her freedom, but it was worth it for her, obviously. So while she's kind of feeling her way into this new life as a single woman, she watched the movie Under the Tuscan Sun. And after watching it, she turned to her English bulldog, Rocky, and she was like, I want to buy an Italian villa. And so in 2017, she made her way to Florence.
Don't we all, Juna?
She just traipsed on over to Florence, and this was her first time in Italy. And she ended up falling in love. And a year later, she went back to Tuscany, and she was sitting at the window of this medieval tower. She was overlooking those rolling green Tuscan hills, and she snapped a photo, and she was like, she said out loud, "This is heaven. I would love to live here one day. I wish I could live here one day." And so fast forward another year later. So now we're in 2019, and she decided to take another giant leap of faith, and she sold her house in Brooklyn, and she worked with her partner, her long distance partner, to look for a house remotely. So she was still in New York, and she settled on this gorgeous old farmhouse in Tuscany with these 3 huge arched windows. And she saw it. She's like, that's the one. And she settles on this house. And the next morning, she's still in New York. The next morning, she opens up her desktop, and that photo she took the year before on top of the hills pops up. And in that photo, she sees the house.
Oh my God.
The fucking house that she just bought. And she was like, this is the universe talking to me.
We love a sign.
We love a sign. She said that multiple times in her interview. This is the universe speaking to me. So in 2019, she moved there. She packed up her entire life, went across the Atlantic with her dog, and she moved to Tuscany. So this obviously was right before lockdown, right before pandemic. So over the course of the pandemic, she and her partner, Walter, transformed this old farmhouse into this incredible work of art. It's so, oh my God, it's so beautiful. And they call it La Canonica di Lucca.
If your house has a name, then bitch, like, yeah, okay.
But yeah, so obviously architecturally, so stunning. And he does woodworking, and
Of course he does.
Oh, uh-huh. So there's like these hand carved shelves, and it's beautiful. And she does pottery. And so the place is so warm because it's just filled with it's something that she picked back up again after she kind of had lost herself. She picked back up pottery and like ceramics and stuff like that. So the house is filled with those things.
Sorry, can I ask really quick? Was she like solely an artist throughout this entire time, or was this like art that she would do as like a passion of hers?
You mean like on top of her job as a merchandiser or like as a fashion designer?
Okay. Okay. So she was still working full time, but on the side had other art projects that she loved. Okay.
Yeah. So on the side, she was doing sculptures and stuff like that. But I scrolled deep because I was like, oh, I'm going to form a little narrative myself.
Yeah.
Before I found the fucking interview, I was like, let me develop this
Let
story.
me put my detective lens on. This is a true crime.
Yeah, I literally scrolled back, and I think her account started in like 2017.
Yeah.
Like her oldest post. So you can tell that's when she is already feeling her way into this resurgence.
Okay.
She did a little art show. She had an exhibit.
Yeah.
Like that.
Gotcha.
And it's so cute. She calls the outdoors her open air studio. And they planted a lavender field because she had always wanted a lavender field. And to the point where they were harvesting lavender and they started making essential oils, and like they got an organic certification. They sell it at the local market, and they foraged herbs and vegetables and wild asparagus.
Is this someone's life, or is this an Emily Henry novel?
No, I know. It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
And it was so moving just watching her. Yeah, they make these incredible meals. Sometimes she'll make like a Malaysian meal, like, oh, when I'm feeling homesick. And
Yeah.
they grow olives. They make olive oil and all of that. And one of my favorite projects of hers is a mulberry tree nest that she made for herself. She says that it's something that she did for her inner child because she had always wanted a tree house and she never got one. And so she carved out, I can probably just show you. So for those of you not in the room with us, which is everyone, I am pulling up some of these videos. So I just showed Nins one of Juna's Instagram posts, and she has this little mulberry nest where she spent years carving out a place for herself and training the leaves to grow. And she picks the mulberries while she's sitting there. And yeah, God damn it. It's like you almost want to be jealous, but you can't because I'm just so happy for her.
Oh, yeah.
You know? And so, yeah, I love that mulberry project because I just love how she has these visions and she dreams them to life. In one of her posts from 2021, she says, I hope this old tree can see many, many more changes of the season. Many mindful moments I spend sitting in the nest in its embrace. I'm grateful for its existence. She has just this connection with the land. I think that's why I was so drawn to her page. So yeah, she had this dream, and with her partner's help, she made it a reality. But, you know, life happens as it always does. And she lost her partner, Walter. Just a few months ago. I think it was February. And this is the part where I had some tearful moments looking through her page because I was so touched by the way she met her grief. She still meets her grief and she honors it. At the same time, she takes all these things in stride and somehow continues to acknowledge the abundance in her life. She says, we've built our dream together for 4 short years. Without him, I will keep our dream alive. He had and will continue to give me the strength to live life to the fullest. The grief will come in waves. I will sit quietly and listen to each wave that taps on my broken heart. And I just so appreciate how the ups and the downs are part of her journey. It reminded me a lot of what we talked about in our first episode, you know, increasing your capacity to feel more in every direction. Because Juna is such a model of just dreaming, and she just had the bravery to be honest with herself about her situation and turn her whole life upside down and find love again and build a home again and open her heart up again and risk having it get broken. But for her, it's worth it. It's worth being able to feel it all. She doesn't call herself a poet, but she's a fucking poet, because this post that she says, she documents, harvesting and everything she's doing, taking care of her plants and stuff like that. And she says, "The lavender slowly woke up from its dreams. Some branches did not survive the cold of winter. With pruning and transplanting, they will grow and bloom better in the coming season."
A metaphor.
It is a fucking metaphor. Yeah. I think I just really appreciated her sharing her story with the world. And Juna, girl, if you're listening, thank you, because everything she's posting, everything about her story, she's reminding us that home isn't a place, but a feeling. And sometimes you just have to trust that your path will unfold the way it's meant to.
Yeah.
And I also appreciate the idea that it's never too late to live your life. She talks about that a lot in her stories. I never thought I'd get a second chance at life. And here I am. Mm-hmm. And I know we joked about, people who are doing things so young and how it feels that's kind of shitty.
Yeah.
But I love stories like these because it's true. It's never too late to start living your life.
Or it's not even a matter of starting your life.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like Juna is so intensely aware of life as it currently is.
Yes.
The good and the heavy.
Yeah.
She acknowledges all of it
mm-hmm.
and appreciates all of it.
Mm-hmm. I just wanted to highlight this caption that she wrote. "Life is a journey. Happiness is small fragments in time you collect while treading forward to the unknown path. May we all gather a basket full of happiness." And I think that that is how she's wading through her life. I actually wanted to show you what her studio kind of looks like, just to give you a visual. So this video that I'm showing Nins is Juna and her dog, Rocky, and the caption is, "When the sun dips behind the hills and the moon rises, our night is long to get through without you in our life." And her I don't even want to say feed, the story that she's crafting and sharing with the world, it toggles between these moments of loss and that acute pain, and then these moments of joy and abundance, and she feels it all and she takes it all in stride. And I think I saw that and was like, I feel like sometimes I'm scared to feel all of it. As much as I preach it and say it, it's easy to talk about, but I have a hard time imagining what it must have been like for her to upend her whole life. I'm sure there was judgment and people being like, you're throwing away this career and you're ending this marriage and you're just going to move to Italy, and
The idea is like, oh, that sounds so great, but I would never fucking do that. The fear.
Yes. And then imagining finding out that this partner of hers has cancer and, she's going to get her heart broken all over again. And her heart is still breaking and mending, but she's embracing it all. So thank you, Juna, for teaching us or reminding us what a pleasure it is to keep rediscovering ourselves over and over again and feeling our way through it all.
Love you, Juna.
Love you, Juna.
I'm still thinking of Journey of Souls again, where it's like your life has a purpose, and that purpose will manifest itself, and it can be anything. And it sounds like hers is to just share the joy of living.
Yeah.
Appreciate what life has to offer you. Anything that it offers you.
Everything.
Everything that it offers you.
Yeah. Yeah, that was my little story.
I loved it. A nice note to end on.
Yeah.
Did we do it again? Did we do it again?
We fucking did it.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Have a good day.
Well, thank you all again.
Thank you for joining us once more.
You made it to the end of this entire episode. Congratulations.
Yes. And you're welcome. You're welcome. No, but truly, thank you.
Thank you to all our crybabies. Again, I don't know how else to express just the gratitude that Arns and I both feel, knowing that people care about this silly little project of ours and are participating and doing the work too. Mm-hmm. It's really fucking cool to see. It's fucking so cool.
It really is.
I will never get tired of the lovely messages and just the excitement that everyone has shown us for this. And we hope you guys continue to enjoy our little chats.
You better.
And prove it by giving us 5 stars.
5 stars.
And reviewing us.
Yeah. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. Subscribe, rate, review. Send us some messages. hello@brbcryingpodcast.com. Send us a message on our website, brbcryingpodcast.com. And I think that's it.
That's it.
We love you.
We love you so much. Jomar, you're a good dude.
My favorite one. Fine, I'll admit it. We'll see if he listens to the end of the episode and catches this tidbit.
He's probably putting our episode on like 0.17 speed, you know? He's like, my commute's only 20 minutes. This shit's like 50 minutes long. How am I gonna, you know?
It's true.
Okay, I'll forgive you.
Peace out, A-Town.
All right. See you next week. Yep. But until then,
BRB crying.